Ayanna, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and about what you love about Fairfield? What brings you there or brought you there?
Yeah, can I ask about the pronunciation of your name?
Yeah, it's Ganaia.
Ganaia. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I was brought to Fairfield through MIU, so I did my undergrad there, and I graduated. I think we're going on a year and a half ago, and so I'm coming back to Fairfield for a visit, but I've been away for a while, and just being in the MIU community and being surrounded by people who are meditating and kind of aware of that. Sorry, I'm getting a call distracting me. Um, but yeah, there's a special zhuzh in the air in Fairfield. And I think just the fact that it's so small and kind of isolated from the rest of the world, like made everyone there a little even more closer and more concerned with caring for their community. And you just don't find that everywhere. Like in bigger cities, you can just be an anonymous person. And in Fairfield, you walk down the street, it's like, hey, how's your mom? Like, it's just like this family feeling that I really love. And so a lot of my friends that I went to school with, they moved away and then moved back. So there's still like a pocket of all these wonderful people still there. So it's nice that I can come back and visit and um, yeah, unfortunately, I had to leave because I have other goals and visions that I'm pursuing. I'm doing a master's program in art therapy in Santa Fe. So
Oh, very nice. Yeah, so it is kind of cool how Fairfield tends to be like a revolving door of amazing people, right? It's like you meet a new pocket every once in a while that you didn't know existed.
yeah, I think I stayed pretty kind of close to the like school community, but there's like a music scene and all kinds of stuff going on out there. And I don't think I've met you. So
Yeah,
it's kind of cool that even after I left, like I'm still sort of meeting new people in the community.
no, I love it. We're all connected. So, what did you study at the undergrad there?
Oh, I did fine art.
Fine art.
Yes.
And what years were you there then?
I came in 2021 and graduated in 24.
Oh, okay. Because I spent so much time in the art building. I was in the writing program a lot.
Oh,
We just missed each other.
could
Um,
be.
yeah, I was there like every day in 2019, and then things shut down, and I ended up finishing up online mostly.
Oh, I see. Are you a writer? I know you do music as part of your mentorship, but do you involve writing as well?
Yeah, yeah, they're both pretty, in tandem, very both important. And I think they relate in a lot of ways too. So I'm doing my MFA in creative nonfiction, and that's online. So it's super exciting lately. Going into a publishing internship phase before I do my thesis year. So I've got a couple more years of professional tracks going on, and it's nice because it's part time. Is your grad program full time?
Yeah, it's really involved. I'm finishing up the first quarter and it's compared to MIU, it's really a beefy program.
You do like multiple courses at once.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I really miss the block system. Just being able to like deep dive into one thing and like focus all my energy on that. Yeah, it's a good system.
Yeah. So what else would you say that you're into? I know that sounds like art is your main thing. Do you have like multiple things within art that you're into or anything along with art that's maybe different from art?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like my artistic practice is definitely like multifaceted. Since moving to Santa Fe, I really decided to like focus on starting my business, and that is in the like teaching pottery classes kind of vein. So I've been really focused on like my own ceramic work lately, but I also really love painting. And in the last few weeks, actually, I got like reinvigorated on that path and just like finally set up like a really like a studio space that I can just leave open and not clean things up because that ends up being like an impediment for me. It's like, oh, I have to create, it's just already there and like I can come to it anytime. But I also feel like writing like just reflective little bits on things like helps me understand like what I'm really diving into, especially with painting, because I feel like I do my best to almost like step out of the way and just allow things to like come through me. And it's really like on the back end that I like reflect on what it is that I'm even like what just came out. So in that way writing comes in, but that's really more like for me it's like this internal process I keep kind of guarded. But yeah, I'd say in those three things I'm like most put my energy into.
Nice. Cool. So, do you have any students right now, or that's something that you're preparing for? Oh, you do?
Yes, yeah, so I'm teaching classes from my home studio in pottery, and that's been really sweet. The when I was in California for like a year in between Fairfield and Santa Fe, and I was teaching at a school there, and I got to see like how they structured things and kind of make my own plan for what I would want that to look like. And yeah, it's I feel like it's not what I expected it to be to start a business. I think like marketing has been the most like challenging aspect for sure. Like just like telling people like, hey, this is what I do. Come, come do it with me. But yeah, it's been great so far. I did like a little summer camp for kids that like got me a really loyal customer student. Um, but yeah, I work with people of all ages, but I love working with kids especially. It just is like such a sweetness and like just sharing space with them like makes me feel full.
Oh, yeah, I relate to that too. They're full of wisdom themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. So how did you design what you teach? Like, I know that sometimes that is like a whole challenge within itself. Like, I know what I'm doing and how to do it, but how do I want to show somebody else?
Yeah, I took a lot from this school that I was working at, and I realized in kind of teaching in that environment too, so much of it can be really open, especially in pottery. Like there's so many avenues you can go down, and I like to kind of meet with the person and start with like the basics of clay, of like prepping your clay and the different stages in the process, and like kind of getting familiar with those basics. But then from there, like it depends on the student. Like, do they want to learn wheel throwing more, or are they more interested in hand building? In which case, like then we'll head into like different projects, and it can really be like, hey, like what do you want to make? Like we'll work on the technicalities of it. And after a while, like the student is able to kind of take a more like self-directed approach. And I'm really there to like help with the logistics. If there's any parts that they're like, I don't know how to make this happen, I'm like, perfect, let's do it. So that part's kind of fun too, because I also want students to feel like they like have the basis of the knowledge to be able to like make their own vision happen rather than like, okay, let's sit down and do this project. I mean, with wheel throwing, it's a little bit different because it's more technical and you do kind of have to like drill the skills for a while till your body like learns how to do it. But in terms of like hand building, I think that like once you have like a basic understanding, you can really run with it.
Cool. Yeah, that it reminds me of what my process with music a little bit. It's like there is certainly a technical aspect to like how you hold the guitar and how you need to press your fingers or like what fingers to use on the piano, and it's such a balance with balancing in like, but what do you really like? Like what song is going to make you excited and how can we like get you playing something that's exciting today rather than just like let's do these scales or something?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so it's definitely always a balance too with like yeah, meeting a student where they're at. And I think there's such a big part of it for me that is all about mental health and approaching art from that like it should feel fun, it should feel like expressive, and it seems like from your content that I saw that you have a sort of a similar philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially with, I mean, really any kind of art form, but like especially with pottery, like tuning into the body, like where are you today? Because that's gonna come out in your hands in the clay. Like, yeah, I think that's a really important piece of it. Just being a little bit more aware, like where are you? What's happening? I think too, like in these classes, like I like to do like 2 hour windows, just because like with clay, there's so much cleanup and stuff that it's nice to have like a good chunk of time. Um, and in that, it's like I spend a lot of time with my students, and I feel like um, we get to really know each other, like on a personal level. It just naturally happens, and like in that space, it's nice to like bring in these like mindful practices too, and like I think through doing that, it almost like fosters this more open-hearted connection that happens there too, which I find to be just so sweet and again like fulfilling. Like I really enjoy this work.
Yeah, it's been kind of a fun surprise as a teacher that it's like so much of it is relationship building and it's a really enjoyable part of just being together and getting to know each other and being silly together, talking about things outside of the subject. And it's so funny how much a part of learning that really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the humanness. Like we're just two people here. Yeah, cool. Do you usually teach your classes like one on one?
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you that too because I do through my private practice, it's almost always one on one. Um, but at the school, it challenges me to work with a big group, which it's almost impossible, but you find ways to make a container that everyone can kind of follow along.
Yeah, I imagine that could be a challenge with music. The more people you get in the room.
Yeah, and actually at the school I'm doing art at this point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so um, yeah, I took different approaches. I tried different things with individuals doing individual art, but then realized that it's just a lot better for me and for them if they get into groups and they work collaboratively on something of their own design and
Oh,
give them as much freedom as they can within that structure that's already set up with this big group, big impossible group.
yeah. Yeah, I lately I've been doing mostly one-on-one classes, but I have the capacity in my studio to do like up to 4 students. And then larger groups than that, it would definitely have to be like only like a hand building kind of thing. And there wouldn't be space like in my studio. It would have to be like at another location. But I think about that too. Like there definitely are ways to make it accessible to a larger group of people.
Yeah, I think four is such a sweet spot too. I find like that's my max for my personal business, my private business. I'm just like, definitely I want to cap it at four per mentor because then everyone can still get individual attention within that number. Feels like a supportive amount.
Yeah, totally. And I'm wondering about how this like conscious mentorship thing came about. Like, did you start this? And like, how does like the funding for it work?
Yeah, it's in its early stages, but what happened? It was the beginning of 2024 when I started the Music Mentor, and I was still like totally new at all the marketing, and it took me pretty much a year to just catch up to speed to the way everyone markets things and how to get myself out in the community, doing workshops that were really fun, exploratory music events, and then this year. I really started getting students coming in, paying students, and working with different types of people. And then I just realized that it's a lot easier, in my understanding, to work with kids through a nonprofit versus through a for-profit business. I don't know. Are you working through like a for-profit structure, like an LLC with the kids? Yeah.
Yes.
Are they connected to any kind of like community group, or how do you find kids?
So I started with like, well, there's the Instagram page, but then also like putting ads on Facebook. pages, like different groups and things. And I found that to be the best. I also did like a magazine ad and like flyers and things in the community, but I found like Facebook was the best that I found. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's always good to learn from other mentors too about how they approach it. Because what I found was that there is like a way to do it where you've got a for-profit business parallel to a nonprofit business. And in that way, like the music mentor can be hired by quantum mentors, so I can still be a part of it with my private practice, but quantum mentors can be its own thing that invites other mentors, really builds the value of that. And in my experience, wanting to host events at different places like libraries and schools, I just got a lot of resistance when I was a for profit business versus I saw a lot of doors open as a nonprofit. They understand that it's very mission driven, even though there is a for profit entity over here that I cultivated. Um, it's very much a mission driven, mental health oriented kind of creative expression thing for kids primarily. Still work with adults, but um, that's basically why I started it as a nonprofit to kind of diversify what I could teach, not just music or not just writing, and offer different things, but also to get into those other places like schools and libraries. And it's probably a little different than what you would usually do as an artist with all the materials. Like you don't generally go to them; they come to you. It seems like based on
Yes.
how it needs to work for all that equipment.
Right. Yeah. I think there are ways to make it accessible though. Like I can think of like hand building projects, but they would be easier if they were kind of like one-off little workshops, I'd say. Because it would be hard to like build on that. I mean, it could be doable, but yeah, it might be a bit of work in terms of clay moving around.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think of it as like a one-off kind of thing, as like being able to introduce to an audience of kids what you do, and then maybe some of them would say come to your studio after being introduced to it, you know?
Yeah. How does the like mental health aspect show up like in your teaching?
Well, actually, because I'm on TikTok and I'm also in the middle school, those two worlds have converged lately, and it's been really funny. I got like in the past few weeks, I got 50 followers on TikTok from the middle school kids, and I'm becoming middle school TikTok famous, and it's pretty funny. So, some kids came into my class this week and one of them actually asked me, like, can you tell me a little bit about why you want to be a music mentor? And I was like, I've been waiting my whole life for this moment, you know, like, let me tell you. And that's kind of like how it comes up. I love when I get the question about, like, well, why are you doing this? Especially from the kids, because then I can just say, like, you know, that I think there's really nothing better for you when you're feeling upset than to really just get your breath going and to sing. Like, maybe you want to scream, maybe you're trying to process emotions like a primal scream, but really to be able to express that in a way that it's not negative, that's like it's beautiful, it's positive, kind of not thinking about being good or perfect, but just thinking about expression and like being as loud as you can, like singing in the car at the top of your lungs, you know? So I'm always kind of promoting, like in the events, I like to go on the square and do like karaoke and get people just sort of belting whatever they want out somewhere they wouldn't usually, and just feel that kind of liberation creatively.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I've been on it's a little like personal story, but I've been on like a journey of allowing myself to be more free in my self-expression in terms of like dance and singing and stuff. I've had a lot of like shyness and like fear of being seen in that way, and like in the last few years kind of been undoing some of that messaging. I wonder if you have students like that and like how you approach that with them.
Yeah, I know it is an interesting thing because I do talk about like finding your ideal student or ideal client is so important in attracting the right people. And love to hear too about what your ideal student is or how you attract them generally. But I noticed that really the ones that are already ready to kind of explode with some kind of noise and they're already really ready for the spotlight, they're definitely the ones that are ideal for me to work with because it's a lot less work to kind of break through any shell. But then I do find students sometimes that are, quieter, more shy, and really, it, to me, it seems like it has to be a slow and steady process of kind of chipping away at that messaging, kind of like you said. It's like just even from them seeing me doing it often in like small bursts, whether it's on TikTok or in the town or whatever it is, I just hope to be able to like start giving them permission and permission, especially in art class. A lot of them are like, I can't draw, I'm not good at this. And just like every day being able to be the one that says like you don't have to be good at it, you have to enjoy it. Like if you find a way to enjoy it, then you've done a good job. And something that comes to mind, there was a kid who kind of made a mess of his page, but he did follow all the directions and he had this good way of balancing out like following directions and kind of exploding his own his own vibration into the page. And he goes, this kind of looks like a unicorn pooped all over my art today. And I just like didn't miss a beat. I was like I was like, well, that's a great day's work for an artist, you know? And they all kind of looked at me like, huh?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so priceless to be able to see that. And even sometimes I see a student who their friends are all saying, "Oh, she's a great singer, she's a great singer," and she's just like, "No, no, stop, stop." You know, like she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want anyone to hear.
Yeah.
And so, even just starting to identify through the community, like who's the one that's a little shy that maybe has the talent, I think it's just the beginning of of opening the relationship to be able to have the potential. Like that's probably part of the more sacred work is like being being the one that's known as the guide, like when you're ready to kind of break open the shell a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of actually when I was in high school, and I was kind of shy to sing back then myself. Like I was good at it and sang at home, but I never did it with a group or in public much. And I was a choir director. That man, he was just the funniest teacher. And I think sometimes when you just there's a teacher or a mentor in that role that they're just so silly and wild and they build that relationship. I feel like when I auditioned for choir with him, he just he could sense that I was a little closed up, but he because I was comfortable with him, he his initial reaction to my audition was like, "Oh, your voice just opened up a lot there." Like and he was like ready to roll with it. Like it's definitely sacred work to have that relationship built so that when it's ready to open, it can open.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So, yeah, I was thinking, do you have an ideal client or ideal type of student that you want to work with or show up for?
Hmm. I think like through my work at that school that I was working at, I worked with all ages, like all sorts of people. And I really believe that like the person who's supposed to learn from you is like exactly who's going to show up in front of you. So I don't know, maybe it's lack of thought that's leading me here, but like I really feel like I'm open to like whoever shows up.
Yeah, that's a great way to be too. I understand that. Like to a degree, ready to kind of pivot with whatever style they have.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think I learned so much too from working with different people. Like just having those interactions. Like, yeah, I'm teaching them something, but like I'm learning just as much. from them. So
Cool. Um, so what kind of things did you think about at all? Any kind of things that maybe would be a intro that if you wanted to get involved in the Quantum Mentors Network, like is there any kind of point of entry that you see, whether it's like just a like an introductory concept or something like a something accessible for anyone who's just sort of like asking about, well, maybe I'm interested in clay or pottery or like what how do I even think about that world? Like where do I begin?
yeah, I mean, I feel um, like teaching a pinch pot is like the most like entry, like accessible, like almost ancient practice in pottery. Like we just need to make a vessel to hold something. And you need like no tools. You just need the clay itself. So I feel like that's a really great place to start. And do you mean like in terms of offering like an intro class, like what that would look like?
Yeah, yeah, what comes to mind just because like I'm not very experienced with clay, but I was kind of thrown into teaching it a couple times at the school and tried to do pinch pots. And I feel like just because I don't have a whole lot of expertise or experience in it, the kids often want to just as quickly as they can say that they're done and then it's over and then it's like, oh, well, I don't know what else to tell you. Like I kind of wonder how you would pace the experience for like the short attention span or the like, well, what more is there to this? I'm done kind of a reaction.
Yeah. So actually, like in the school that I worked for, we taught like 1 hour classes to the public, and like that structure really helped me like with pacing things. Like in terms of teaching a pinch pot class, it's like, all right, first we're going through the motions, like step by step, we're doing it together. So like I'm like leading the charge in that and slowing things down. And then also like once the vessel itself is made, then there's like decorating the surface. And if like they're in my studio, then I have like stamps and like an extra little slab of clay so we can like add something onto the piece, and like teaching them how to like slip and score to like attach clay to clay, and kind of talking a little bit about like what the different parts in the process are, and like there's definitely ways to like fill the time to give them a little bit more that they can then build on later, even just as like a little bite-sized thing.
Mm.
Yeah, and if I'm able to have them in my studio too, it's like you can do two little projects within an hour, like do a little pinch pot and have them throw a piece on the wheel that's like already centered, because in that short of time to teach centering would be a real challenge. But like if I've already have like centered clay on bats, I can just have them pop over real quick and like throw a little piece, just so they can like feel the clay on the wheel, feel the that texture. Like it's just such a, I think that's really what hooks people, is they get in there and they're like, wow, this is like a sensory delight. Like I want to come back to it. So yeah, I think if I were to offer that sort of thing, it would look like that similar structure.
Cool. Yeah, I've been thinking more about different ways mentors can get involved, whether they're local or global, and um, especially it's just an interesting challenge where it's like such a hands-on thing, and you're more like a global connection that it would leave room for some innovating, you know? Whether
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
a guest speaker or more of like building some kind of small cohort remotely, like say four kids, like think of a small cohort in some kind of remote cohort.
Yeah, I mean, would it work to have people like local in my community in Santa Fe and like still work with you in that way? Like I feel like I recently came into contact with a community that I would love to like bring these classes to. Um, I was able to get like essentially like I watched the kids of parents in AA meetings, and like to be able to offer it that community of kids would be like so exciting and beautiful and wonderful, and I would love that, especially if I could do it in this like nonprofit structure would be amazing. So I don't know if that is compatible like with what you do.
Yeah, it's possible. That's a great idea because I do like to think of different ways to make impact in places that aren't just Fairfield. And in that way, it kind of opens up doors to like applying for, say, different grants that are more specific to your area. Um, yeah, I'm still in the early stages. Probably like this whole year, the whole next year coming up, I'll be looking into more like mini grants until we get our 501(c)(3 and then we can apply for the big ones. So it's a slow, steady build, but having even just the Iowa nonprofit structure to work through, it's definitely something that you could mention while you're approaching those communities just to, like I said, sometimes the nonprofit structure can open doors that the for-profit
Mhm.
one can't. So that would be an awesome way to, yeah, help with mental health and creativity in the community there. Santa Fe, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Um, I think you were mentioning like in being part of, and correct me if I'm misunderstanding, but we were kind of talking about. It sounded like you were inviting me to be part of this like quantum mentorship, that then you could pay me through this nonprofit structure to like offer classes where I am. Is that
Yeah,
it?
that is the vision. That is the overall vision. We're not at a place right now where there's grants coming in yet, but it's like the moment they do come in, that's when they can start going out for things. So what I've been seeing that makes it stronger is like because I have all this time spent building up my for-profit, I can almost like calculate the hours that I spend doing that is something that I would do anyway to build my for-profit business. Calculate all those hours and write something up as capacity building, and then it's for Quantum Mentors capacity building. So those kind of things show proof of concept to funders. So it's a little chicken and the egg dance there, but that's why someone who's already kind of putting their mentorship out there, already spending time like posting on socials, making ads, and all these things, if they're listed kind of like formally and all compiled, it just shows that there's much more happening even without funding. And that helps the funders see like this is something that's going to grow, that's already got a lot of momentum behind it.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't looked into grants or anything. I don't even know where to go to start looking into that. How did you like come across, information in this world?
Um, I do a lot of my research with AI because
Oh, nice.
thinks a lot faster than I can think. But I did also do in my undergrad, I did a little self-directed study on grant research with someone who had been a part of a nonprofit before. So that was when I realized how many doors are closed until you have the official 501(c)(3). So, but even right now, now that I'm between, how fast that's going to happen, it's probably not going to be till the end of the next year that that would realistically happen. Um, that I'm starting to get creative and diversify my research into mini grants where you don't need a 501(c)(3) yet, and like even artist grants. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, but I'm starting to find those, and they can even be just as big as the big ones. Like I think I saw one, the Iowa Arts Council. They have a lot that are they're for 501(c)(3s only, but then they have other ones that are for artists, like a $10,000 artist grant that they do annually for someone who's an artist that wants like a career building, like a career boost, career making project. So I'm thinking more in terms of like the paperwork that it takes to show the project's the project's value. It's like a lot of thinking about the metrics, like how many kids served and like how they're served and how it's measured and what the bigger vision is. and what the structure is, what all the outreach steps are. So I can definitely send your way when I find something, or if I find something for your area, and like just to even see what I've written up for Quantum Mentors so far. It's pretty basic, but this year I'll definitely be diversifying it into all kinds of shapes and sizes to see where it sticks, you know?
Oh, yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Cool. Well, I'm so glad we met today. Yeah, this is like we hit a lot of things. You've got quite a humanitarian vision already without much probing to help the kids with the
Yeah,
of the recovery program.
I just love connecting with people and like as someone in recovery, like being able to give back to that community too, just like has such enormous value for me. So yeah, this just kind of fell into my lap recently, and with us being in contact, I was like, oh, connecting these two things would be so cool.
That is awesome. The treasurer for Quantum Mentors is actually really interested in helping people in recovery as well, with music in particular. He's a
Cool.
guitar player, amazing blues musician. He did a class at school, Berkeley, in guitar, and I think he was just really moved to hear that there was one guy that was in recovery, and he said that something that made all the difference was someone showed up with a guitar at the program and just like helped him start to play around and experience music in a way he never had before, and it really turned his life around.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. It gives me chills.
Me too. Yeah, so he's in Boston, where I'm from, and I think that he'll be, slowly putting together connections like that. So I'll definitely give him this tip too. Maybe he'll look into that same structure, see what he can do with the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I hadn't heard of like AA meetings having like childcare available, but I just came across this. I don't know if it's just in Santa Fe, but one of the parents was like, "We should do this," and it just yeah, I just got connected to that. So it's awesome. I didn't realize you're from Massachusetts. I feel like I meet so many people in Fairfield from Massachusetts, and they all are like my closest friends.
Oh, where are you from?
California,
Okay, what part?
um, Central and Orange County. Yeah, I grew up in Santa Maria, a little small town, and then high school like moved down south. But yeah. California's just so big. It's like there's these all these like little micro cultures in it.
Yeah, I explored a bit, so I understand what you mean. I explored out there. But we're getting to the end of our Zoom call here, so it's probably gonna cut us off in a moment. So
Oh,
it's a good time
cool.
to.
Well, I have one more thing actually. We kind of talked about like if you wanted to learn some things in clay. I think it would be cool to like do a trade if you're open to that.
Okay. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
cool. Yeah, I am like I said, really working on like using my voice more and like being more comfortable, like just to like sing in public spaces or in front of other people and yeah.
That would be awesome.